Hello everyone and welcome back to Top Grade. My name is Spencer Miller and today I'm so excited to share with you a selection of brand new Canadian early reader books for the spring 2024 season. These books are going to inspire so many young readers on their reading journey. I'm so excited to talk about them, so let's dig in. Dragon on the Loose from Orca Book Publishers is written by Marty Chan and illustrated by Grace Chen. This partially illustrated early chapter book follows two friends who bring a friendly dragon to life and have to help her return home. I love that this story is set in Edmonton's Chinatown, bringing a touch of fantasy to a familiar place. For little readers interested in dragons, and I know there are a lot of them out there, this story does a really cool thing in comparing North American dragons, who are typically giant monstrous beings with bat wings who breathe fire, to Chinese dragons, who are symbols of power and strength. This is just one way the book introduces and helps to promote an understanding of Chinese culture and traditions, adding an important layer to a fun adventure story. Ullak and the Creatures of the Sea is published by Arvik Press, written by Suzy Napayak-Short, and illustrated by Sho Uhara. This is another illustrated book that will entice young readers with an interest in animals and mythology. The story follows an Inuk girl named Ullak, who forgets to follow her grandma's advice not to play on the ice, and is kidnapped by a sea monster. Ullak is taken to Sana, the ruler of the seas, and then introduced to all the different Arctic sea animals. While Ullak enjoys her underwater adventure, she misses home and must find a way to convince Sana to send her back. The story fuels imagination, the way it blends magic and wonder with Arctic landscapes and animal life, and I love the way it introduces a little piece of what life is like for kids living in the north. Taming Papa from Groundwood Books is written by Mylène Goupy and translated by Shelley Tanaka. Originally written in French and translated for English audiences, this early chapter book takes a look at one young girl's struggle to connect with her father. As the story begins, Mélie has just met her father, who spent years as a political prisoner in another country before being released and able to reunite with his family in Montreal. Samy is quiet, he doesn't speak the language, he's nervous to leave the apartment, and every night he has nightmares in his sleep. In many ways, he still feels imprisoned. And despite all of Mélie's efforts, she really has no idea how to connect and get to know him. At the same time, Mélie starts a new babysitting job, watching over her teacher Xavier and his partner Luke's new adopted baby. While there, she realizes that what she's doing is also like starting a new family, and while it isn't easy, it's always worth it. I was really impressed with this gentle story and the way it challenges young readers to ask essential questions like, what makes a family a family? How do you learn to love someone? How do you show your family members that you care about them? These are all great ideas for little readers to consider. Next up, I want to highlight two awesome chapter books that feature neurodivergent kids in the spotlight. First, Queenie Jean is in Trouble Again, from Heritage House Publishing, written by Christine Reed. This is a chaotic, funny, and inspiring story about growing up with ADHD, finding your place, and finding your voice. In the story, 10-year-old Queenie and her family move from small-town Ontario to a glitzy suburb in West Vancouver. Queenie is desperate to fit in and make a best friend for the first time in her life. But at her fancy prep school, Queenie finds herself in trouble again before the first bell even rings. After finding herself in trouble and trouble again, a speech competition at Queenie's school gives her the opportunity to speak out and be heard. There's also great information about ADHD in the back of the book, including a section with helpful tips for teachers. Up next, Maya Plays the Part is published by Anik Press and written by Calissa Erb. In this book, Maya, a musical-obsessed 11-year-old with autism, embarks at the summer theater camp of her dreams. Maya is such a dynamic character. I love the way that as a young actress, she is able to really understand that when she's masking, she's putting on an act just to fit in with the kids around her. It is so interesting to see Maya's thoughts and experiences change throughout the week at theater camp. This is really insightful and encouraging autism representation. Our last two books for the day are standout nonfiction titles. Up first, Haudenosaunee, The People and Nations is published by Beach Street Books and written by Susan Curry. This nonfiction resource helps young readers get to know the Haudenosaunee people, taking a look at the stories, history, language, culture, and daily life of their nations. It's a highly visual reading experience that includes many photos, maps, and infographics. The book does a good job of looking back, looking at the present day, and looking forward. This is the latest in a series, so keep an eye out for other titles that introduce other nations from across North America. The Longest Shot, How Larry Kwong Changed the Face of Hockey, is published by Orca Book Publishers, written by Chad Soon and George Chiang, and illustrated by Amy Chi. Our final book for today is this wonderfully illustrated biography of Larry Kwong, the first player of Asian descent in the NHL. The biography traces Larry's life from his boyhood in Vernon to eventually making his hockey dreams come true. Larry had to overcome anti-Asian racism and discrimination at every step of his career. The book does a great job of situating Larry's experiences within a historical context that includes the Chinese head tax, the Vancouver riots, and the Great Depression. Larry's legacy is really only now being recognized, and so I'm so happy that this book exists to introduce young readers to one of Canada's hockey heroes. And those are all of our books for today. On behalf of the Association of Canadian Publishers, thank you so much for watching. We hope that you'll comment on the video, give it a like, and share it with a friend. We also want to give Ontario Creates a big thank you for their continued support of the Top Grade program.